Hello and welcome to Property Box News. I'm Nuria Kearns. This edition is dominated by the call for a snap general election, which has set the industry alight with speculation on existing issues and raises a common theme that housing must be a major part of the campaign and not be overshadowed by Brexit. Already Theresa May has made it clear this is about Brexit and unifying the country. At this stage, it's too early to tell how this will influence the property markets, which way prices will go, and even if the government will abolish recent tax changes. It's fair to say that lobbyists and campaigners will continue to campaign against the tenant tax. Geeta Nanda, Chief Executive of Thames Valley Housing, believes the election is an opportunity to update or even scrap old manifesto pledges that are untenable or proving difficult to deliver on. Buy-to-let investors, stung by high stamp duty and taxes, will be hoping for a reprieve. She said the real vote winner would be to offer tax breaks for longer, stable tenancies for those in private rent, a move which would benefit tenants and landlords alike. Focusing on the housing crisis, we know that the country is in dire need of housing. In the recent budgets, the housing measures announced did nothing to excite or instill confidence. The Residential Landlords Association is calling for all political parties to put housing first. Given the lack of affordable housing across the country, housing could well be as important an issue as Brexit and could influence who wins the election. The following statement by David Smith, Policy Director at the RLA, sums up very well the opinion shared by the majority of professional landlords. Over recent years, the private rental market has been hit by tax hikes, benefit cuts and growing regulations, all of which are making it more difficult for tenants to access an affordable place to live. The same changes have made it harder for good landlords to provide quality accommodation that tenants have a right to expect and have discouraged further investment in new homes. The political parties need to recognise this and deliver for tenants and good landlords alike. These points were backed up by David Cox, Chief Executive of the ARLA, and Mark Hayward of the National Association of Estate Agents. They issued a joint statement yesterday stating that all political parties need to put housing front and centre in their election manifestos. Although Theresa May's stated intention is to provide greater clarity and stability by calling a general election, in the immediate term the move inevitably puts a question mark over policy and creates further uncertainty. Some predict a slowdown and maybe even a stall in the sales market until after the election, in a similar way that we saw last year before the Brexit vote. Lewis Johnston, Parliamentary and Public Affairs Manager for RICS, had this to say: "It is now the responsibility of all parties to set out clear policy proposals across land, property construction and infrastructure to ensure the UK can deliver the homes, infrastructures, factories, offices and major building projects it needs to thrive." Whatever the outcome, a policy announced by Philip Hammond last year, the ban on tenants' fees by agents, is currently at its formal consultation stage and is open for responses up to the 2nd of June. The Department of Communities and Local Government has confirmed this remains the case despite the shock calling of the snap general election. The ban will need primary legislation and so the actual implementation date is not clear but is unlikely to be before late 2018. A major worry from landlords is that limiting agency fees will mean fees to landlords will rise. David Smith of the RLA suggests, with landlords already being pressed by tax changes, they may well look to increase rents to cover these new costs, although there will be a cap on what the market will bear in some areas. The government claims the measures will improve competition in the rental market and further drive up standards by placing the onus on landlords to shop around for more competitive fees for services they pay for. However, the government is guilty of assuming the agency marketplace is the same all over the country. In some areas, there are limited choices. We'd welcome your thoughts, so please leave us a comment below on what you think might happen over the coming months and if the election will have an immediate impact on the property market. That's all from me. Simon will be back next week looking at the pros and cons of buying in a limited company, and I'll see you on the next Market Roundup. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Or proving difficult to deliver on. Nothing in their election manifestos. Johnston. I'm so sorry.